Last week, I made a video taking a look back at the Ajax team that reached the 2017 Europa League final. Of the 11 that started, in Ajax's final defeat to Manchester United, Andre Onana was the only player still at the club just 3 years on, although since I made that video, David Klaassen has also returned to the Johan Cruyff Arena. Ajax had a brilliant young side in 2016-17 and of course the following season where they reached the semi-finals of the Champions League, but as that video showed, their squad has been decimated in the brief period since then. That got me thinking about some other squads that have been rapidly dismantled following success, and having come up with 5 or 6 of my own, I asked for some of your suggestions on Twitter. There were some brilliant ones, so thank you all for that, and I might as well take this opportunity to invite you all to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, where the username is just at HITC Sevens, in addition to subscribing to the channel of course. Now, success means different things to different teams, so not every team in this 7 even won a trophy, but they enjoyed relative success before having their squad picked apart. There are many more than 7 that I had to pick from, so before you tell me I missed X, Y or Z, I might not have missed them, it's just that this is HITC Sevens, not HITC 64s. Since I made a video about Ajax's class of 2017 and 2018, and I've already mentioned them in this introduction, they won't feature in my 7. Here are 7 squads that were dismantled following success. Monaco, 2016-17. In 7 out of the last 8 seasons, Paris Saint-Germain have been crowned champions of French football, often by a rather sizable points gap. The only team to interrupt PSG's period of dominance, which began in the 2012-13 season, has been Monaco. Monaco were in Ligue 2 when that era began, but after buying an apartment in Monte Carlo for €220 million, billionaire resident Dmitry Rybolov decided to buy his new local football club as well. Monaco enjoyed a pretty significant rise, finishing second in their first season back in Ligue 1. They went one better in the 2016-17 season though, enjoying a stunning domestic and European campaign under Leonardo Jardim. Monaco pipped PSG to the title by 8 points and reached the semi-finals of the Champions League. Their success was built around a core of brilliant young players like Bernardo Silva, Thomas Lemar and Kylian Mbappe, but sadly, Monaco wouldn't be able to keep hold of many of them for very long. The following summer, Mendy and Silva signed for Man City, Mbappe headed to PSG, Timmy Bakayoko joined Chelsea, Guido Carrillo signed for Southampton, and Valère Germain was snapped up by Marseille. That was over half of the starting 11 gone in a flash, and Fabinho, Thomas Lemar and João Moutinho followed them out of the door the following summer. Just 3 years on, Brazilian centre-back Jamerson and French fullback Djibril Sidibe are the only regulars from that 2016-17 squad that are still based in the Principality. Southampton, 2013-14. It's a well-known feature of English football over the last 10 or so years that Southampton routinely sell their best players, most frequently to Liverpool. Thankfully for Saints fans, their best player right now came from Anfield, so they'll be hopeful there's slightly less chance of the Redmen coming back in for him now. Southampton have a fantastic academy which has produced some top-class players, but they also recruited very well for a number of years under Nigel Adkins, Maurizio Pochettino and Ronald Koeman. It was in the 2013-14 season under Maurizio Pochettino that Southampton finished in the top half of the Premier League for the first time in more than a decade. It was a terrific achievement by a really talented group of players, but sadly, Southampton wouldn't be able to keep them all together on the south coast. Initially, they lost their manager Maurizio Pochettino to Tottenham, and then came the player departures. During the following summer alone, Ricky Lambert, Dejan Lovren and Adam Lallana all signed for Liverpool, Luke Shaw joined Manchester United, and Jack Cork was allowed to depart for Swansea City. The following summer saw another player leave for Liverpool, Nathaniel Klein, meanwhile Morgan Schneiderlin joined Luke Shaw at Manchester United. Within just a few years, Stephen Davis was pretty much the only regular from that season left. Southampton rebuilt with signings like Dusan Tadic, Sadio Mane and Virgil van Dijk, but they too have all since departed. Independiente, 2017-18. I said on this channel a week or so ago that I hadn't talked nearly enough about South American football in recent months, and that I intended to fix that. Since then, I made a video about players who left Europe for other leagues and a documentary about Chapecoense, so hopefully I've stayed true to my word, and I'm not going to neglect South America in this video either. Record 7-time Copa Libertadores winners Club Atlético Independiente didn't actually have a brilliant 2017-18 season by their standards, finishing 6th in the Argentine Primera Division and exiting the Libertadores at the round of 16 stage. Their saving grace came in the Copa Sudamericana, South America's second most prestigious cup competition, where Independiente overcame Brazilian giants Flamengo to win their second Copa Sudamericana crown. Of their starting 11 from that game, less than 3 years ago, all but 2 are no longer at the club, with a third still contracted to Independiente, namely Martin Benitez, but currently out on loan. What's more, not a single player from the Independiente bench is still with the club, which tells the tale of a rapid and mass exodus of epic proportions. Among some of the 11 star names, Nicolas Tagliafico now plays for Ajax, Gaston Silva now plays for Huesca, and Ezequiel Barco is a 2-time MLS All-Star off the back of his 2 seasons with Atlanta United. Monaco, 2003-04. The only team to feature in this 7 twice, there was simply no way in which I could leave out Monaco's class of 2004. I could have included both surprise 2004 Champions League finalists in this 7, the victors Porto and the runners-up Monaco, but it was the Ligue side who suffered the more severe decimation in the coming years. For a start, 3 of the 11 that started for Monaco in the final were only ever on loan, so they all returned to their parent clubs once the campaign came to an end. Club legend Ludovic Joly was perhaps the most significant departure, immediately signing for Barcelona for €7 million, although the club also lost their talisman Dado Priscio to Rangers on a free transfer, which had to hurt. Within 3 years, all but 2 of Monaco's starting 11 from the final had departed, including big names like Patrice Evra, who joined Manchester United, and Gaël Givet, who was recruited by Marseille. Even among the substitutes, French international Sébastien Schillaci soon said his goodbyes and headed to Lyon, prolific Congolese marksman Shabani Nonda left in a move to Roma, and Emmanuel Adebayor set sail for England in a £3 million transfer to Arsenal. It only took 12 months for Monaco to lose their manager Didier Deschamps, who resigned and subsequently took charge of Juventus, and is of course now a World Cup winning manager as well as player with the French national team. Meanwhile, Porto lost key men like Paulo Ferreira, Ricardo Carvalho, Pedro Mendes, Maniche and Deco from their final 11 within a flash, but their wounds were slightly less severe than Monaco's. Marseille, 1992-93. I think the achievement and talent of Marseille's class of 1993 is gravely underestimated outside of France, or at least it is here in England, so I'll try to do this team justice here. In 1991, Marseille had reached the European Cup final, but they failed to become the first French champions of Europe after falling to defeat on penalties against Red Star Belgrade. 2 seasons later, though, they came roaring back better than ever under their eccentric and ever-entertaining Belgian head coach, Raymond Goethals. Marseille played with a back 5 when defending and a back 3 on the attack, with 2 talented defence midfielders and a couple of flying fullbacks. In 1992-93, Marseille topped the Ligue table for the 5th consecutive season, although they were later stripped of their title and deprived of a spectacular double when they were found to have made illicit payments to opponents in order for them to underperform. That will forever taint this Marseille team, but there were no bribes involved when they defeated the AC Milan team of Maldini, Baresi, Rijkaard and Van Basten in the 1993 European Cup final. It was a stunning achievement, but following the Ligue controversy and the resignation of their colourful boss, the Marseille squad was pulled apart. Fabien Barthez joined Monaco, Marcel Desailly joined the Milan team that he had just beaten, Rudi Völler returned to Germany with Leverkusen, Abedi Pele swapped Marseille for Lyon, and captain Didier Deschamps was signed by Juventus. The decimation of that Marseille squad, virtually all of whom had departed within just 2 years of their European crown, was a little surprise given the French football bribery scandal, which ultimately saw Marseille suffer an enforced relegation to Ligue 2. Come to think of it, that might make for a good documentary video. As ever, make sure you're subscribed. Sao Paulo, 2005. If you thought we were done with South America just yet, then I'm afraid you were sorely mistaken. The sad truth for South American clubs over the last few decades is that whilst it is possible to build genuinely top-class squads that could give any team in Europe a game, once one of your players reaches a sufficient level of renown and reputation, they are almost certain to make a move to Europe. That was the case for many great players at Sao Paulo, who created a truly world-class squad in 2005. In the 2005 campaign, despite going through 3 different managers and only finishing 11th in the Brasileiro, Sao Paulo won a sensational treble. They won the Campeonato Paulista at a canter, they thrashed compatriots Atletico Paranaense in the final of the Libertadores, and they even defeated the European champions Liverpool in the final of the FIFA Club World Cup. That Sao Paulo squad was truly special, not least because their captain and goalkeeper Rogério Ceni was their top scorer that season with 21 goals. Senni was also the only regular from 2005 that remained at Sao Paulo for any period of time, as the rest rapidly departed. Among them, Cicinho signed for Real Madrid, Diego Lugano joined Fenerbahce, Marcelo Amorosa headed to AC Milan, and 3 of Sao Paulo's Libertadores Final 11 left for Japan just the following summer. A fantastic squad of players that burnt bright but were quickly blown out. Red Star Belgrade, 1990-91. Whilst I wouldn't say there was any definite order to this 7, who else could I put in top spot but Red Star Belgrade? Mentioned when I spoke about Marseille, the Serbian outfit won a famous first European crown right at the start of the 1990s. In a season that started with a pre-season defeat to Bradford City, Red Star would soon take Europe by storm. A well-drilled side with a world-class centre-forward, Red Star proved to be a match for any team, and they proved their class by heading to the Olympiastadion in Munich and beating Bayern 2-1 in the European Cup semi-final. The final pitted Red Star against Marseille, and after the game finished goalless, the Serbians, albeit still part of Yugoslavia at the time, converted every single one of their penalties. The club soon added the Intercontinental Cup, but despite a brilliant squad, it wouldn't herald an era of success in Belgrade. The combination of the Yugoslav wars, which saw many flee the country, and Red Star unable to play their European games at home, twinned with the fact that so many of their players had caught the eye of Europe's top teams, prompted a mass exodus out of Belgrade. Every single player that started for Red Star in the 1991 European Cup final had departed by the summer of 1992, with the vast majority leaving the club within weeks or months of the final. Among the most high-profile, Robert Prosinecki signed for Real Madrid, Sinisa Mihajlovic made haste for Roma, and top scorer Darko Panchev headed to Inter Milan. Sadly, having won the 1991 European Golden Boot, Panchev's career would be destroyed in Milan, and he was unable to ever rediscover the form that once made him one of the most feared strikers on earth. So that's it for today's video. Thank you all as ever for watching, hit the like button if you enjoyed it, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and make sure that you are subscribed to HITC Sevens. Oh, and obviously, you can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram, where the username is just at HITC Sevens on both.